Hola, ¿qué tal, mi gente? A pleasure to have you here. I'm Byron Gonzalez. I am the program director of Bilingual Sounds HD3. We are a public radio station. You can stream us online everywhere at bilingualsounds.org. We're also available on our free app that's available in the App Store and Google Play. We're member-supported radio. You are the people that make this station run. You support everything that you see here. So thank you for watching, and make sure you subscribe so you can also support us here on YouTube. Subscribe down there. And yeah, this is a Bilingual Sounds session, exclusive interviews with artists from around the world. And today we have an amazing singer-songwriter, and she's also a multilinguist. I'm talking to Dominique Hunziker today. ¿Cómo estás? A pleasure to have you here, al fin.
Estoy muy bien, muchas gracias. Very happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, I've been listening to your album quite a bit. But before we jump into this, introduce your friend, your guitarist, your partner.
So Agustín del Pozo is my partner in everything we do. We do music together, we live together, we are just partners in life.
That's awesome. Un gusto
thank you, Byron.
tenerte.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming all the way from Switzerland. You both are from Switzerland too.
Yes.
That's a really cool a thing. And to know that there's a guatemalteco and argentino in Switzerland making some really good music. Before we get into that whole adventure, because I'm sure there's a whole story behind that, I want to know a little bit about yourself. About who is Dominique Hunziker, the person. So first off, I want to know what is one of your favorite foods?
The first thing that pops into my mind is like spaghetti bolognese.
Oh, really? Okay, you're Italian? You like Italian
Yeah,
food?
I'm a very Italian lover, but risotto is my really favorite Italian dish.
Okay, how about for you?
I like milanesa. It's like a piece of meat with with crumbled bread around.
Like fried. Meat, yeah. That's delicious too.
That's my favorite. Yeah.
What would you say, what was one of the first concerts you ever got to go see?
Wow, my first concert was Floricienta.
What is that?
It's like
A TV show.
It's a TV show from Argentina, actually.
Yeah.
And they used to sing songs and everything, and I was such a fan. And my mom got us tickets to go with a few friends, and we went. We were like the Taylor Swift Eras tour now. It was that kind of vibe then. And yeah, I guess that was my first one, but then I went to other concerts that I don't remember exactly the bands, like jazz concerts at IGA in Guatemala, and yeah.
Oh, jazz in Guatemala.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
How about for you? What was the first concert you ever went to?
It was a rock band from Argentina. It's called Los Piojos.
Los Piojos. Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't heard of them. No, and I heard a lot of Argentinian bands, but Los Piojos.
Well, there are like two kinds of Argentinian bands. There are the ones for export that are really famous in whole Latin America,
Yeah, like
and the ones that
Stereo,
are really Argentinian coded, so they don't really get out, but they are really popular in the country.
Los Piojos.
Los Piojos.
That's a cool name
The
too.
lice.
Yeah, that's funny. Now, contrary to that, what was an album that you could not stop listening to when you were little?
When I was little.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's a hard question because I immediately thought of the album that I've been listening to for a long time right now.
What is that one? Yeah.
So this one that I thought was, it's an album from Rachel Dad.
I haven't heard of her. Okay.
And it's called, how is it? Kaleidoscope.
Okay.
I love it.
Is she like a singer-songwriter, or is she
Yes,
rock?
she's like a singer-songwriter, but she's really weird, and she has some like jazz stuff.
It's kind of Fiona Apple, Regina Spektor, this kind of...
Yeah, this vibe.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. ¿Y para ti?
Well, I thought of the first album from Franz Ferdinand.
Okay. Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
It has Take Me Out tonight, no?
Take Me Out.
Yeah. That's a fun one. So you just could not stop playing that one.
I heard a lot of that. And also Arctic Monkeys. Like, I was really into indie rock.
Yeah, that's a good era. Nice. What would you say got you started in the music? Let me reword that. What would you say was your first instrument that you started like gravitating towards?
It was always the voice. I was always interested in singing, but the first instrument that I kind of went to lessons to learn was piano.
Piano.
And yeah, I liked it. I remembered I just enjoyed the company of my teacher. She kind of motivated me to listen to more music, enjoy playing music. I don't remember anything about piano, but it was like a music introduction, and that was great.
What did you learn from that artist, or what from your teacher? Like, what artist did she recommend?
I don't remember, but no, I just remembered she showed me songs and I liked them, and we tried to recreate the melodies, but I don't remember a specific name. Yeah.
Okay.
I was very little. I was like 4 years old or something.
Oh, wow.
So,
you started very young. Okay.
But that was a very brief period of time, and then I didn't do music until I was 12. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good jump off point.
Yeah.
And now you're creating albums. You're touring in LA. I want to get into this album, but let's jump into a song, because you recorded some really beautiful songs. Let's get into the Stranger song from this album. I've been spinning it on my show a lot. I've been trying to introduce people, because I feel like that song is deep. It talks about your experience. You're Guatemalan, but you're also Swiss, and I think when people have dual identities like that, it's hard to find your place in the world. And your song is that kind of what your motivation behind that song was?
Totally. I remember I spoke with a friend. She's also Guatemalan, and she was studying in France. And we were just like talking about how we felt, and we felt very weird because when we were in Guatemala, we felt different. Now that we saw the world and we saw other things, we felt like strangers. And when we were in Europe, we were like also strangers because we have all this cultural background from Latin America. And for me, it was a feeling that I have carried since I was a child, because I walked in Guatemala when I was a kid and people talked to me in English because I look gringa, you know?
Yeah, okay.
And then, it's like feeling a stranger at your own home. Yeah. And I think that feeling can also translate to other situations. For example, when, I don't know, we're in a period of time where people are rediscovering what gender means and what identities are, and I think many people can relate also to this feeling of, but what am I really? Like, am I this, am I that, or am I in between? And that's kind of the feeling that I wanted to transmit in this song.
Yeah, and you did. It was really beautiful.
Thank you.
So now I want to get into this album. I want to know your feelings and thoughts when you hold your body of work.
I'm really, really proud because I see this and I see all the work from many, many people. It's a project that I have, but it's not only me that is behind this. Here you see like all this little print, and you see all the names of people who have worked in this album. And I'm really excited because it's all like friends, and it's the first project for many of us. For example, the guy that recorded us, it was his first time like leading a studio and recording a whole band, and it was his first time recording an album. For the mixing engineer, it was also his first time mixing an entire album. So we were all like kind of discovering how to do things, and it took time, but we wanted to be slow and just be sure to get where we wanted to go.
That's very punk rock. To start off and not knowing you know what you're doing, but to have like no resume, right?
Yeah.
And to do it for the first time, I think that's very punk rock in itself. Very much so. Also, let's not forget, you said you were talking about friends. You were introduced to me by a friend, Kathy Palma. So Kathy, if you're listening, thank you so much. This is possible because of you. She put me onto your music, and I was like instantly hooked. I was like, it sounds like, I remember I reached out to you and I was like, this sounds like Natalia and Silvana Estrada.
Yes.
But then now you're telling me that with your first album, Gabby Moreno helped you produce this.
Yes.
And then now with this, so what did you learn from that experience with Gabby and producing it and creating an album that you put into this album?
Everything. I learned everything. Like, imagine I was like this hippie singer-songwriter. I was just with my guitar. I was used to play solo every time. And I wasn't sure about how to... I knew I wanted to make music, but I didn't know how to. And then Gabby reached out and she called me and she was like, hey, let me produce your album, right?
Wait, how did she find out? She just like called you? How did she find out about
I
you?
recorded a live session with Esquises. It's a project from Guatemala.
Okay.
And she saw that video and she liked it. She was looking for Guatemalan artists for her tercer festival, Gabby Moreno y Amigos. So she called me for that initially. And then she was like, hey, but wouldn't you want to record your songs? I can produce them. And I was like, yes, please.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So I came here and we recorded the songs. I saw her world. That was for me the most exciting part. Like, she let me come with her to a concert she was doing. It was a David Bowie tribute.
Oh, wow.
Because, it was very recent. His death was very recent. And she took me also to some rehearsals and stuff, and then we recorded. So for me, it was like an introduction to, hey, this is the life you can have with music. Like, it's not only like being hippie and like playing for yourself and like, you can make a career out of that. And the thing that most surprised me was when I received the audios, because I just recorded guitar and voice and she produced everything so that it had a band. So she called all her friends.
Even know.
No.
Oh, wow.
She arranged all the songs with her friends and then she sent me the recording already done and I was like, what?
Okay.
That is my song? Like, it can sound like that.
So then that's why you have bands in this album, because it gets really it crescendos at some point, and you're like, oh, there's a whole band behind you. Yeah,
that experience introduced me to what my music could sound with other people. So I wanted to learn how to play with other people, and that's what inspired me to go to Switzerland to learn music. And I was lucky enough to find beautiful musicians who were motivated to work with me, and we formed a band, and we've been playing for a long time. We have our own sound right now, and we felt we were ready to record an album, so we did.
That's awesome. Yeah. And it sounds great. Yeah, those songs are full. I'm just a little sad that, you know, with a band, it costs money to travel. Yeah. So you only were able to bring a partner with you, but hopefully in the future, you know, more people pay attention to Dominique. Please. So from all these songs, do any of these songs, when you're listening back to it, did they have new meaning now that you finished the album, you recorded it, and you're listening back to it? Which of these songs took on a new meaning after you listened to them again? I think El Huipil was the one that surprised me the most, because I knew it was kind of special, but it was kind of more for me, you know. Yeah, it's beautiful. You talk about your grandma in there. Yeah. So a huipil is the traditional garb for women in Guatemala or Latin America. Yeah. And it's kind of a tradition that transmits from mother to daughter. So that was for me very beautiful. Like, it's a lineage, you know, and like every huipil tells a story, tells the story of a culture, and it goes from woman to woman. And I felt that when I went to say goodnight to my grandmother one night, and I just hugged her, and she was wearing her huipil, and it smelled like this very particular scent that the huipils have. And it reminded me also of the woman that raised me when I was little, Papayo, and she always wore her indumentaria maya. And what is that? It's huipil with the skirt also, like the whole thing. Okay. And it smelled this, it just took me to that memory. And so I wrote that song, and then when I sang it in Guatemala, people
were really touched by it, and they felt really represented with that, and that makes me very honored, because it's
we were surprised by that, because it's also like Her Majesty from the Beatles. It's like the last song that you put as a bonus track, and indeed we haven't played that a lot in Switzerland.
Yeah.
And then we played it here, there in Guatemala, and we started receiving a lot of feedback, and everybody was so...
And people were asking for it, like, play it with Bill, please.
Yeah, because nos da mucho orgullo, especially when our culture is being sung about, especially something huipila that not everybody would know. Like, I'm sure, like, if you played it in Switzerland, people are like, what is that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lovely song about a mother-daughter relationship, but not that extra level of understanding of what a huipila is, right?
Exactly.
So it's a song for the people.
Yeah, it's a song from Latin American people.
That's amazing. And it only cements you because, again, you look like a gringa. And then singing about a thing that is very Latin American culture, you're like, oh yeah, no, she's Swiss Guatemalan.
Yeah, thank you, because that's also like this feeling of, am I the right person to be singing about this?
Of course you are.
I love it, and I just want more people to know that, and
Cool. That's awesome. Let's get into the next song that you recorded for us. This one is La Nieta del Alba. Can you give us a little backstory of what the song is? I love how you just cemented yourself in the saying that you were born to sing. And you started playing music very young. So did you come out of the womb singing?
Well, kind of, but I didn't always believe in that dream, and this song is kind of my mantra to keep on with this dream of singing, of making music. And it's actually a song for my grandmother, because she's the one who encouraged me to go follow my dreams and to just jump on a plane and go all the way overseas to study and to follow my dream.
Is she Alba?
Yes, yes. Well, I call her Ava, but and the thing about this song is that it just motivates me to continue, and that's why I want to dedicate this song to all the women that dream of a better world, or that que no les da miedo ir a construir sus sueños.
Oh, that's great. That's a great message. I need to get that, you need to put that on a sticker.
Yeah.
You're going to be playing a show later on at the Hotel Cafe, which is awesome. That's where all the singer-songwriters come. And now you're going to be part of that culture, and we are going to welcome you here in Los Angeles. Is this your first time in LA?
It's my second time in LA. It's the first time we'll be performing.
Oh. Cool.
The first time I came here to record my first album with Gaby Moreno.
Okay.
And so it's like a
full
circle moment, because I'm here presenting my new album, and it's really cool. I'm excited about the Hotel Cafe because I'm really eager to see how the music scene works here in LA. And
it's very supportive. Do you have more of these to sell?
Yes, of course, I brought.
So what's coming up in the future for you? You have this album. Are you always constantly writing? Are you getting inspiration? Have you written anything now from your little tour that you did in Guatemala, Mexico, and now here?
Well, I have songs that are not yet recorded, but are already written. They didn't make it to this album because they were like in another... they were talking about other things, and this one was really about like my roots and stuff, and now there are other songs that are talking about other aspects of life. And our next project is we want to record like 3 EPs. One in French, one in English, and one in Spanish.
That's
so like 4
cool.
songs each, kind of something like that.
That's really cool. I love that. Yeah, you're a multilingualist. You know what? So it's Spanish, English, French,
and German.
And German.
Yeah.
That's really cool. How about a German song?
Maybe. I would need a lot of help from you to see if I'm writing correctly. But yeah, why not?
Cool. Oh, and you mentioned that so this song or this album is all about going back to your roots. Is that why you titled it Regresar?
Yes, totally.
And did you have a lot of control over the artwork?
Kind of, like it was I really had a picture in my mind, and I worked with two artists. A photographer, he took the picture in a botanical garden. We just wanted to have a very Latin American vegetation because I wanted to feel closer to home.
Wow.
And that's why we went there. And then a friend of mine, she's called Cyrielle Format, she drew all the rest of the elements, and she painted over the things that were already in the photo. So it looks like it's illustrated, but it has some elements from the photo and some elements that she did.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's kind of these songs help me go back to my home in a way or another. Like I was looking to feel at home after living abroad for a lot of years and feeling like a stranger, you know. So every song reminded me a little bit of how it felt to be home and what it meant also to be home, because what I realized writing these songs is that I carry my home everywhere with me, and that's the most important part. And remembering that brought me this feeling of peace and being at home.
Wow, that's cool. I want to get a little bit of your timeline clear. So you were born in Guatemala to a Guatemalan mother and Swiss father.
Yeah.
And then how did you decide to go to Switzerland? I mean, sure, that's your second home, right? But to like fully go there and live there.
Well, it was always kind of in the picture. We were always thinking about maybe going there because we had this opportunity, right, with the papers and everything. But I wanted to travel and to make music and stuff. And then I had a very intense heartbreak, and I was like, hey, hell no. Music is calling me. Music is calling me right now, and I need to take it seriously. So I decided to face my fears and decide to study it.
So you just made the jump and involved yourself in music, and you got to meet Gabby Moreno, produce with her, and now you're traveling the world a little bit. Yeah, and you created your second album, and everything is here, and things are looking up, right?
Yep.
You just got to take the plunge, right?
Yes.
Is there a lesson that you would like to tell people about following your dreams, maybe, that you've learned?
Trust your intuition and just keep going. In life, everything is gonna be hard, but if you decide to face this hardship in the path you want to follow, then it becomes easier to face the hardship, because you're gonna find difficulties everywhere. But if you're following them, if you find them in the path of your dreams, you're gonna be way more motivated to just go through them. So just keep going and trust that you're gonna be able to
just
find the way.
Yeah, it's tough though sometimes.
Yes.
But you did it. I guess in the middle of heartbreak, you're like, nothing can hurt me, right?
Yeah.
This is not gonna be that bad.
Yeah.
Anything's better than this feeling I have right now.
Exactly.
That's cool. Well, thank you again for dropping by on your visit to LA, and I'm happy to welcome you to our studios. We're gonna end the set with a song that you were telling me is unreleased.
Yes.
Or is not even recorded. So this is your first official recording of it.
Yes, it is.
What's the song name and what's it about?
It's called What I Left Behind, and I wrote it kind of in a very dark mood. Like I was feeling very, very weird, like angry at something. And I was fighting this feeling because I didn't want to feel like that. And I found myself fighting with myself because in the end, so this darkness was coming from myself, and I was just fighting with that. So this song helped me accept kind of both parts of myself, this light and the darkness, and just accept them as parts of my personality. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to accept these things sometimes, but they're there.
Yeah.
You know?
And the more you fight them, the less they're gonna go.
Yeah, and the less happy you are. Yeah, good at letting go. It's a good lesson too.
Yeah.
Pues aquí tenemos a Dominique Hunziker. She's gonna play an unreleased song not even recorded, exclusive to Bilingual Sounds. So what I left behind, and thank you for watching. Say goodbye to the folks.
Thank you for having us.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Thank you for watching, and subscribe, and enjoy Dominique's last song of the session.